If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the Village, Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch. Oh, okay.
Buy our merch indeed, and shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener. TestAmenT, Throne of Thorns. Let's do it.
My throne of thorns is where I shall rule. Keeper of all, bringer of death, to challenge me, off with your head. Crimson lust, warlords of torment that do attack me. Power mad, opposing armies are beat on your tap. The fatally wounded, forever forgotten, history's written in blood. The pillaging forces blinded by hate. My kingdom is out of control. God of war, fireborn, throne of thorns.
Bite the medicine, crawl the medicine. I got the lettuce in.
Right.
You turn green like cucumber skin. Got the new Hummer in the summer when I was a newcomer then. Drugs and Mac 10s, hook from fake friends. Make ends, they hate you. Be broke, bitches won't date you. That's why I relate to. Choke your ass out to your face glue. Make you open the safe too, no matter how you call it. This brolic, alcoholic, like his weed, greened out like his brick solid. Distribute 2 clips who take heart like Valentine. Drink Valentine all the time. Slug hit your chest, tap your spine. Flatline, heard through the grapevine. You got fucked 4 times. Then that 3 to 9 fucked you up for real though. Sling steel slow. As for remorse, we feel no. It's a good line.
It is. As for remorse, we
Sling
feel
steel slow. As for remorse, we feel no.
Sling steel.
Biggie's the best. Biggie's the best. B.I.G. B.I.G.
What can you say? What can you say?
B.I.G. Okay.
All right, let's check.
This band, first of all, the guitar-driven metal. Listen, if you're listening to heavy metal, the shit's got to be heavy, and it's got to be fucking metal. Period. End of story. This song was heavy as shit. It was heavy as shit, dear listener.
Was. Babe, when it talks about
and that solo, yeah, just one more thing about the guitar. That solo was necessary. That song would not be the same song without that solo. And that is, most of the time, there's a solo in a song, I'm like, even the solo in our song, like, I'm like, the song could still be pretty decent without it. But this particular one, no. No, like this, musician-wise, somebody said, like, I need to pick up my guitar. I want to play my guitar. And, like, that's exactly right. Like, every time I listen to, like, a guitar track and somebody's just going unconscious on that shit, I'm like, man, I want to play my guitar right now.
No, it's right in there when you want.
It was a funny story too. Like I was practicing one of the joints.
He is.
I was practicing one of the joints and that we were doing, and the kids love the song.
Oh my word.
Seneca. Everybody asks like, who's the your kids must be metalheads. The big ones are not metalheads
not
at all. The little ones though.
The little ones are.
They love the song. They've already memorized the lyrics.
Facts though. Every single one of them went to concerts in my womb.
Yep. That's true.
So
and you were big each time.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were hearing it, and they were hearing our shit too.
So Seneca, 100%. Seneca is one, and he did this. So you start playing the song.
Well, he was asleep. That's the thing. He was asleep. He was fast asleep. And then I started playing the song, and it
wasn't even on an amp.
He woke up, looked around, and immediately started headbanging. It was like the coolest thing ever. Also, Ben, I'm gonna sue you because I was overtraining and I strained my neck here. So I got put on the bench as far as like training, exercise and shit. But I almost went to the hospital last night. If you know me, like that's. So I'm like really hopped up on a lot of like painkillers right now, and unfortunately for me. I'm sitting there rocking.
Yeah.
Then I thought to myself, like, I'm going to pay the...
You are going to pay the price.
I'm going to pay the price for this shit. I'm going to pay the price for this. But it's all good. It's metal, man. And I needed this. I needed thrash
I have to
metal
tell you
right
guys
now.
what he did. Vin is so friggin' extreme with everything that he does. He did so many push-ups, he was losing count, and he injured his neck from doing it. That's what happened. And his form is like on point. I watch him. I know. It wasn't Paul Form that did it.
The point is, don't overtrain. That's the big thing.
I'll tell you though,
because then you won't be able to headbang.
Situation with my neck, and it didn't get better until I'm not a big believer in chiropractors, but in that situation, when I was in excruciating pain in the shower and I couldn't get it to relax, and I literally thought about shaving my whole head because I thought my heavy hair was what was bothering me. I was like, nah, this is some Napoleon Dynamite shit. Remember that guy when he got sick and he shaved his whole head?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you should probably see a chiropractor. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to headbang.
Yeah. No, I know.
Okay, sucks. God of War. Babe, every time that we talk about the God of War, what is it? I was going to say Shinzu, right? Or whatever. Shinzu, what is it? Who is
Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Sun Tzu?
No, maybe that's what I was thinking. No,
the famous
Shinzu?
Sun Tzu.
Okay.
He wrote this famous book called The Art of War.
Okay, I think I'm confusing that with who is the God of War? The one
Mars.
It's Mars?
Yeah.
I thought the name was different. Anyway, now
Well,
when I
it
hear
would be
it,
different.
because everything is getting mixed together, I'm like, well, you're not really though.
What about Kratos?
No,
There's a video game called God of War
It
where
was.
you play
I thought
as
it
Kratos.
was. You know, actually, what I
What
saw.
about Ares?
No, it was. You know, your buddy Adi. It seemed like it was in that realm.
On the Hindu side?
I think so.
The God of War?
Yeah.
Well, Arjuna is the warrior. Arjuna was on the thing, and Krishna was telling him, "You got to go kill these people because they were his family. He didn't want to do it." And the Krishna was saying, "That's just another attachment to the physical world. They need to die." So he sent them off to kill those. You know, and that's what's going on a lot in the Bhagavad. Was Krishna sitting next to Arjuna's chariot and telling him he's got to do it? There's Balaram.
That's it.
Hermes.
Shiva.
She's not the goddess. She's destruction. She's a destroyer, isn't she?
That's what I was looking up. Destroyer of worlds, right? I think that's what I was looking up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Okay,
Gotcha.
but also, I'm like God of War. I'm sorry. I think a lot of people do not understand Jesus. And when you see the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament and you understand that as Jesus, nobody fucks with him as the God of War. Like, forget about it. I mean, even the way that he's described in Revelation, it's almost terrifying if you're on the wrong side of that.
You're on the wrong side.
The wrong side of that wrath.
It's like being on the right side of the U.S. military. If you're on the right side of the U.S. military, great. If you're on the wrong side of the U.S. military, so yeah. Listen, Jesus was called the captain of the Lord's host before he was called the Lamb of God. Okay, so he is the creator and the destroyer in one.
I don't think you put them
Be
on
quiet.
Red. Put them on red.
I need to put them on red. Okay. Behold now the power I wield that comes from my soul. Crimson rain through the fire, bodies I claim. Legions of darkness I call unto thee. Decisions I make, for I rule. Blacken my kingdom of warriors above, eager to storm iron gates. This coarse refrain was so gangster. God of war, fireborn, throne of thorns. God of war, no remorse, fireborn. Listen to these words, to what I have said.
All right, guys, I'm going totally off here. But, so I'm going back to the Jesus thing. I don't know. I don't think they're not Christian, right? Testament?
No.
Okay. Behold now the power I wield that comes from my soul. If you're thinking about Jesus and the power that he has from himself, and then it says crimson rain, which he by his blood, that's what gave him the name above every other name. That's what made him the most powerful. Rain through the fire of bodies I claim, and then the fire of bodies I claim, because he went to the cross to bring many sons to glory, to bring us to the Father. And then legions of darkness I call unto thee, decisions I make, for I rule. Because every demonic, divine, all of those gods, the pagan gods, the Greek mythology, all of those gods are subject to the one true God. And so they all have to answer to him. And because of the cross, we were just looking at this thing where the two fighters, and one of them was basically saying, I have this spirit inside of me.
Deontay Wilder.
Detail it, because you know him better.
Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. They're sitting across each other. It was one of the most gangster moments I've ever seen in my life.
It was crazy.
Because Deontay Wilder's like, when you step in the ring with me, you're not stepping in the ring with Deontay Wilder. You're stepping in with the Bronze Bomber or something like that.
She's like, maybe it's one of my ancient
ancestors. Tyson Fury says, well, what's that? Who's that?
Yeah.
He goes, I don't know, man. It might be another spirit. It might be it might be a spirit of my ancestors.
Yeah.
And he said, Tyson Fury said, what? He said, you're getting it. He's like, there's no way you can win now. Because you're talking about all these spirits and things. He said, he said, I'm a Christian. I don't believe in that shit.
And then he brought
and Tyson Fury's like, well, I believe in it. And then he goes, you're getting it. You're not going to beat me now.
And that's when he said Jesus.
He's like, he said, now you can't win because God is for me. You can't beat me. He's like, I'm telling you, you're not going to beat me.
You already lost because you left the spirit inside you. Sure enough, when they're fighting, the one with the spirits apparently knocks out the other guy.
Yeah.
And then he comes back up, which to me was just another depiction of the resurrection.
Yeah, he rose from the dead like Undertaker. He took a real shot. I thought it was over with.
And then he took him down.
He brought him down.
Him and his spirits. Him and all his spirits. You said fuck him and everybody with him.
Fuck him and everybody with him. Your hand says, what are you doing to Jesus? Get out of here.
So then so eager to storm the iron gates. That verse that talks about the gates of hell won't prevail against it? Yeah. that's like the gates of hell. Like Jesus is going through those gates. There's nothing there. Like nothing can stop him.
The gates of hell are not offensive tools. A lot of people, like when Jesus says, "I'll build my church and the gates of hell will not overcome it," they're looking at it like the church is like in a little circle and they're hunkered down.
Yeah.
But think about it. A gate is not attacking you, especially in the ancient world. In the ancient world, the gate was your first line of security.
Mm-hmm.
So what Jesus is saying when he says, "I'll build my church and the gates of hell won't overcome it," he's saying we're going into enemy territory and they're not going to be able to defend themselves because we're coming
Their gates are nothing.
with this new life for everybody.
We have the God of War in front.
Right? Yeah. It says in Exodus 13, the Lord is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. So
then he says, God of War, fireborn.
Yeah.
Like when I think of the Trinity, like this raging fire, like, and then he's born through a virgin birth, like it's just unbelievable. And then it says Throne of Thrones.
Throne of Thorns, yeah.
Throne of Thorns,
that's insane. Because Jesus is the only real warrior that can kill someone without remorse.
Yep.
Because Jesus is the only one who truly knows who deserves killing. I had a friend one time like, "Oh, that guy needs killing." Like, how do you know he needs killing? Just because we're on the opposite side of him, he needs killing? But Jesus knows who needs killing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jesus is extremely metal.
I agree. I don't think anybody's in hell right now either. I agree with that. So yeah, man, like I really enjoyed the song. It was an incredible song solo wise. And it's interesting because Jesus, he had a crown of thorns. Mm-hmm. So the irony of a crown which symbolizes your authority, your glory, your honor, but it's in thorns. And I think that that's a very instructive thing because in the fall, in Genesis 3,
that's what I was just thinking.
Adam was a gardener. And the idea was anything that he did, anytime he put a seed in the ground, everything, the ground was cooperating with him. Mm-hmm. And so when the curse came, God says the ground is cursed because of you. And now the ground's going to fight you back with thorns and thistles until thorns became sort of this symbolism of the curse. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, if you go to Genesis 5,
so crazy, dude.
Noah's father named him Noah and says perhaps he will basically reverse the curse against the land that the Lord our God has put on us. And so for Jesus then to have a crown of thorns is on the one hand saying this guy is still the king, mm-hmm. but on the other hand it's saying and he's bearing the curse. Mm-hmm. And so when he said it is finished and his head went down, that was the end of thorns forever. Mm-hmm. It's just that in our conscious phenomenological experience, we still see them, mm-hmm. but they're over with. The minute he says it is finished and that crown of thorns is on his head, that was the end of thorns forever. And so it's a crazy metaphor that we were listening to that other guy. I'm sorry, guys. A Jesus story, there's just too much.
Babe, you have to go to Genesis 3 with that.
There's just too much.
So Genesis 3, when, Adam and Eve, the fall happens, they disobey God, they do what they want, and then God is passing out punishments, curses, whatever you want to call them, and he says, when he's talking to Eve, he tells her that from her womb was going to come one that was going to crush the head of the serpent, but in the process his heel was going to get bruised. So obviously it's a fatal wound to the head. And then you have Jesus all the way, at the same time it's in that same discussion that he talks about the thorns being part of their curse. Yeah. Then here comes Jesus and he's literally wearing the thorns on his head. And it's like, okay, there's thorns, there's the head reference. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, there was a promise that somebody was going to come that was going to crush the head of the serpent. And he's wearing, and it looks like he's defeated, but at the same time, like, it's like when, like when you see one of those situations where the bad guy takes out a weapon and then the good guy grabs the weapon and takes care of him with his own weapon. Yeah. Like, it's like that. Like, here he comes, like, and he's wearing, like, he's so powerful and it's such an overcoming that he's wearing the crown of thorns on his head and he's overcoming all of that in the process. And dying the death on a cross was, you were cursed if you died like that. And it was full of shame. Like, I mean, the process was pretty crazy. Just unbelievable. Like, there's so much to say that there's so many layers to it that there's not enough time to be able to explain it all. But, like, I know how much you guys like when we talk about, like, all of, like, Greek mythology or pagan pagan gods and different ways that they like traditions and rituals and stuff. Like I always liked that, but I never realized how much was in my own religion.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that's so cool that they have those things, and then I'm like, holy shit, we got a ton of these things. Like you just have to connect. They're all over the place. And then Jordan Peterson made this graph where everything that was connected, like from the Old and New Testament, everywhere, like it created a line. So something was referenced here, and then it came out here. Yeah. You should see the thing. It's crazy.
But to Delaney's point, was the crown of thorns put on Jesus to mock him for being the Son of God? Yeah,
that's what they did. Yeah.
But so there's
they didn't know what was happening.
There's this kind of theme all through the Bible, especially the New Testament, where God's kind of trolling people, where He will make the bad guy praise Him, even though the bad guy thinks that He's mocking him. So when Jesus was crucified, Pilate put up in there in three language, right. This is Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews.
Yeah.
And so even though one person's motive was mockery, it was the fucking truth.
In all those languages.
And that's the reason why the Pharisees were like, yo, take that down. And I was like, man, fuck, get out of here. So, but there are so many ironies, to that story. But it is true. Like people, and Delaney, you'll see this if you end up in the Bible boogies, but Jesus's career, like the Gospels was like a slice of Jesus's career in the whole Bible. And so people want to focus on that version of Jesus instead of taking the entirety of who He is and who He claimed to be.
Who He was and who He was in the future, like who He was going to be in the future. You hear Revelation in His description, and then you follow the angel of the Lord. It's just crazy. Yeah.
So it's a very interesting. I do believe that there are gods of war, small G gods of war. I believe Ares and Mars, they're probably the same person, but I believe Ares and Mars are real ontological beings with consciousness, will, all that shit. That's what I believe. I just believe that they report into Yahweh.
It's Simon Peter, same guy. He's the one. He lied, yes, but what he actually was doing was denying Him, because when Jesus got dragged off to the cross, anybody that was part of His group could also get killed, and so they were terrified and they ran and hid. But Peter kind of hung around because he wanted to know what was going on. He loved Jesus, but he denies Him 3 times, and I've actually been thinking a lot about that. It's so crazy that you guys bring it up. And I was thinking about when Jesus meets Him on the beach after. So Jesus rises from the dead, and He meets up with Peter again. And then He asks him, Peter gets to say that he loves Jesus 3 times. And I was like, he didn't ask him, why did you betray me? Mm-hmm. He just lets him say, because
Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me?
Do you love me? That's what he asks. Do you love me? And I was like, to me, that was so significant, because Peter did love Him. Peter was weak, and that's why he betrayed Jesus. And Jesus didn't bury him underneath that regret and that remorse. Like, he felt it, he knew it, and Jesus knew it. And so He allows him the opportunity to say 3 times, no, I do. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I've said that so many times to him. After the 3rd time, Peter looked at Jesus and said, you know all things, you know that I love you. And I've said that a million times, man. I've had to say that to the homie a million times. You know all things, you know I love you. You also know how weak I am. So there's that.
A small G God, Delaney, is you explain it. You're going to be able to explain it in less words.
Yeah, it's getting a little chippy because Chrome is up, so let me delete it.
Okay.
But a small G God is essentially a powerful being that occupies the spirit world, that God has given authority over regions of people. You see that in Deuteronomy chapter 32, that when the Lord divided the nations, He divided them according to the number of the sons of God, but Israel He's kept for Himself. So during the Tower of Babel, everybody was all together, and God said, okay, you guys are trying to create this pagan utopia, so I'm just going to spread everybody out. And so everybody went out, and every region they went in had an angel or a god that was responsible for those people. And so that's how these religions came to be. And that's why I'm saying that I do believe Thor is real. I do believe all those gods are real. Mm-hmm. Ontologically, agents in the universe that affect our lives and have been for millennia. And I also believe there's a connection with that and the current UAP phenomenon that we're all talking about.
Yeah.
So, remember, the Bible wasn't written in English. And so the term God in the Hebrew does not mean ultimate, ageless, uncreated being. Humans are called gods in the Old Testament. Angels are called gods in the Old Testament. Demons are called gods in the Old Testament. I call them little g gods because I don't want to confuse people when you bring that into the English language. They're little g because they've been created. They're extremely powerful. They're a lot more powerful than you and I put together times a trillion, but they're still created. And as such, Jesus orders them around and tells them what to do, and they have to come to him for permission for everything. That's and so you see it right there. God has taken his place in the divine council. In the midst of the gods, he holds judgment.
Yep.
So you see right there that there are gods, but Yahweh himself is judging them. He is, and that's why you have terms like Most High, because they recognize that in the universe there are beings that are higher than us. Right? Just like we know that there are consciousnesses beneath us. We know that animals have consciousness. We know that insects have some form of consciousness. And hell, there's a theory right now, and I probably believe it, that plants have some form of awareness. And so if we can see that there are levels of consciousness below us, it just stands to reason that there would be levels of consciousness above us. And so anytime human beings run into a being that has more capabilities than us, we call that being a god. I mean, it happens on the human level. Tom Brady's the god of football. So that,
and to be honest with you, I think that Jesus is the originator of I definitely think that Jesus is, if we're gonna look at the Trinity, the three persons of the Godhead, then I would say Jesus is the one that's the metalhead.
100%. I mean, it literally says that he circles around with loud shouts. It's like it's literally like a circle pit. We actually hit on that in a Bible book.
He has a tattoo on himself too that says King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Yeah, I do believe
a lot of Christians want to ignore that.
I do believe that Thor still exists. I just think that Thor. I think Norwegian folks would call him Thor. I think A&E folks would call him Baal. But yeah, I believe he's still alive and kicking in the universe somewhere, doing his thing for sure, for sure. But he is he is subject to the Prince of the Council, who is Jesus himself. Okay, so what were you saying now?
No, that was it. That was it. Nathan says, I eat plants. My refrigerator is full of death. You can't call that life?
Let me show you guys this, and then we'll get out of here. I'm just trying to elongate this thing because we only have one more song. I'm gonna miss you guys, but whatever. It is what it is. You guys have lives too. Okay, here's the last thing. It says, on that day, the Lord will punish the host of heaven in heaven and the kings of the earth on the earth. So there's a day coming when the host of heaven, host in that context mean the army. Okay, so everybody, every divine being in heaven that was not on the right side, there's going to come a day when God judges them. The scripture says the saints will judge the world and angels, the scripture says. So that's what we're looking forward to. All right, much love to all you beautiful people.